I guess this is the part where we start our show.
Yeah, and this will be the first podcast of hopefully many, which is just a pathetic excuse to talk to my friend Maxwell.
Yeah, and it's a pathetic excuse to talk to you too, Kit.
Yay. But I think our goal is to discuss anime currently airing and old, because that's half the shit we talk about anyway.
Yeah, it's like a good 40% at least.
Yeah, which typically works out because we both have bizarre amounts of knowledge of bullshit. So, I don't know if I know any anime like I quite know Saga Frontier, but I've got a weird encyclopedic knowledge of a lot of things.
Yeah, you do. But I mean, your Saga Frontier thing's a goddamn sickness. So,
it's a fucking curse.
You're like one of those kids who only knows about trains.
but really though, if you get Time Lord and you suck up 3 void worms, which you can find in the biolabs after you've fought over 250 battles.
You know, listen, we're done with that now. That's not something we do in our lives anymore, kid. Now we're about anime. Enough. We're anime people.
Yeah, we talk about anime. And
so, so our show is called Why is Shit So Kawaii?
Why is shit so kawaii?
Why is? And this week we're not going to be talking about a show that's particularly kawaii. I don't know, maybe it is.
Man, it's kawaii as fuck. Shut the fuck up.
We're going to be talking about Ping Pong the Animation. But before we get into that, what have you done with your life in the past week, Kit?
Man, it's summer, so I've been sleeping a lot. I've been putting off reading a lot of books. I'm in a program where part of my thesis is that I have to read a whole lot of books, and essentially, like, then I have to basically explain how they are a part of my thesis, how they build into my entirety of my deal, whatever.
To your authorial voice, perhaps.
Yeah, pretty much. It's essentially saying here is the kind of the writing that I'm growing out of, and the kind of context that I'm speaking towards, as well as that's kind of built my authorial identity.
That's sort of awesome. Did you get to choose which books these are, or what?
Yeah, so what they've got is they've got there's it used to be 100, now I think they're switching to 50, which is ridiculous. Yeah. It's a lot of books. Told you.
Yeah, I would have just chosen 50 different Batman stories.
I mean, I think you can use film, and maybe if I bullshit it hard enough, even games as texts, but obviously not for a wide majority of them. So they have a list that half of ours have to be from, and so it's here are Western classics and some British ones, and they break them down in a list, and so we have to choose so many from these different categories to build up what half of our reading is, and the other half just be whatever the fuck we want. So
so Batman on Halloween is gonna be on.
Yeah, pretty much. No,
Genesis Evangelion.
No, not at all. I've got Gojira, or Gojiro. Gojiro is one of the ones I'm planning on reading, as well as the other, and I've got quite a few. Some. I actually do have some weeb stuff. I've got some Osamu, whatever, Daisei Osamu, Japanese author that wrote a lot about the Japanese identity and how how it's dying and everything's terrible.
that sounds pretty metal.
Yeah, it actually, it's gotten me really hyped to do because I really want to run a game of Legend of Five Rings, which is a tabletop. You actually introduced me to it. It's so you probably have more facility to explain it to.
So it's Legend of the Five Rings is a tabletop role-playing game, and it's like a setting. Just play this dumb goddamn magic samurai, and you're samurai, and you become samurai at each other.
Yeah.
And you talk about honor, and...
It's a really great role-playing game if you just want to, like, sit around with your friends and just, like, slant your eyes and say that you're honor brew at each other for a long time, and, like, get really in character with it. It is the best magical samurai setting slash game. It's a lot of fun, but I'm hopefully going to be running a campaign of that next semester with my roommates and maybe like a few other guys that join in. And so reading this Daisei Osamu, which is all about like traditional Japanese culture, like getting completely like whitewashed and commercialized, along with like. I've been reading a manga that's called, like, I think, like, Bad Boys Drink Tea is the English name.
Oh, yeah.
So the Japanese name is, like, Waka Bata 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 Doo 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 Doo.
Yeah. Some Japanese shit.
Yeah, it's some Japanese shit. And it's kawaii as fuck. and the premise of that, and I've been reading a lot of that, actually. More so than I've been reading the books I need to read to graduate.
Sure.
And the premise of that is essentially there's this guy who's like a real badass delinquent guy, and he gets in a lot of fights because like he looks like a real badass, like he's just got a scary face, which is pretty common I've now found in a lot of Japanese media.
Okay.
It's like dude gets in a lot of fights or people are scared of him because he looks scary. It's in Toradora. It's a fairly popular trope.
Yeah, I've seen that around.
Yeah, and so that's the main character's deal, and so like. He doesn't really like fighting, he's just really good at it, and it happens to solve his problems. But he gets to high school and decides, like, he's going to turn over a new leaf, and all this fighting is not worth it for him. And so what he does is he decides he's going to join the tea ceremony club. Because it seems like that's, like, going to be, like, kickstart, like, his peaceful lifestyle.
That sounds alright.
And so, like, everyone in the tea ceremony club, other than the president, is, like, completely not okay with this because he's like a real delinquent gangster guy. They think he's going to bring a bunch of trash into the club and like everybody's going to be smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and just fucking everything up.
Yeah.
And so it's really funny because you've got this dichotomy of like he's trying his best to do the tea ceremony stuff and live his life by like these like tea ceremony Japanese values. But then like people just keep trying to like beat the crap out of him left and right.
That's real interesting. But yeah, so, we should talk at some future date about the things you got to read for your degree thingy, because I love Western classics, and I could tell you what the good ones are.
You probably should, because I've got to read a whole lot of books.
You gotta,
or at least I have to lie to my graduate committee and tell them that I've read a lot of books. No, I really do.
Can you get away with like reading Shakespeare and stuff?
Probably. I mean, I'll inevitably have, like, probably, like, out of, like, their list, I'll probably have, like, Great Gatsby, which, I mean, I don't need to read Great Gatsby again. I've read it, like, 12 times.
We gotta read everything Ben Jonson ever wrote, if that's any...
Oh, yeah.
Because
Ben Jonson's spectacular.
It's just the greatest. It's just...
But, I mean, aside from, like, me procrastinating and reading a few things and sleeping a whole bunch, I don't know. I've got a lot of friends that live out of state who've been visiting me recently, and so that's been pretty hype. One of my friends is on like a cross country road trip. He's going up to Canada soon, and then another one of my friends is coming all the way from Louisiana to visit me in Ohio. So that's cool. He's driving up here. It's insane.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
Exactly. No, I like the dedication and love. I feel it, but I finally got the Gundam game that I ordered like 3 or 4 months ago.
Dude, you're repping the weeb pretty hard.
I really am. I feel like it's my first podcast here. I've got to solidify myself.
It's true. You're like really building like a case.
Street cred.
You're building your ethos, is what you call it in rhetoric.
That is true, and that's oh man, I dread next semester I have to teach 2 of the same class, and so oh man, that can either be amazing or terrible. I've had good and bad teaching experiences, and so Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully everything's great. Of course, Great Teacher Onizuka is like my entire teaching ethos. So, like, I even did like the whole like writing my name in chalk huge on the board thing.
Sure.
Yeah, some kids lost their shit when I did it. Like they just freaked the fuck out. It was my first day of class, and like I made sure to like just like look like a grungy, shitty student, and I sat down with like my backpack from like whenever I went to college.
Yeah. Whenever you went to college.
Yeah, so long ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For those who don't know, which is all of you, I graduated and then immediately went to grad school, which is not a thing that happens apparently.
I did.
Yeah, so
but
it seems a lot more popular, but like everybody in my cohort's older than me and took years off and stuff like that.
When my cohort, I'm not an Englishman like Kit, but I'm in a more respectable graduate program than English literature. But
I wish there was a punchline, but I guess it's just my life.
But yeah, we're both grad students. Is the wonderful story we're telling you right now.
Yeah. But yeah. So you know, I sat down and I sat in the class, and I was just sitting there like a student. I just shot the shit with the other people who showed up, and like 15 minutes into the class, someone's like, "Where the hell's the teacher?" And everybody starts like talking about like, you know, like they're gonna leave or like. Then eventually one student was like, "Man, I heard about like some German classroom where the teacher just acted like he was a student." I'm like, "That's funny because I'm doing that right now." And like I stood up and like walked to the front of the class and wrote my name, like, because like all the students knew my name because they signed up for the class.
Yeah.
So I wrote my name in chalk like huge on the board, and like the fucking collective like ass clenching and gasp was certainly worth it. And I was like, "And that's rhetoric." Like, because I made all these decisions to convince you of, you know, whatever. And so,
yeah.
I was throwing that idea along with my superiors, and the chair or whatever, the guy that was like essentially my big boss was like, "It's risky,
yeah,
but you could go for it, I guess." And then but one of the other guys that taught the practicum was like, "Yes, all the way, 100%." So from that like mixed review, I was like, okay, you know, even if it fails, I can be like, well, screw all you guys, let's have a terrible semester.
They didn't teach me how to teach.
Oh man,
they gave us like a 2-hour seminar and like a syllabus, and they were like, have at it. I was like, all right.
Oh man, no, we had to make our own syllabi and like run them through the department and everything. It's real on lock.
Yeah.
And we had of course they observe us, and we have like peer observance done. We have evaluation.
They should have done that to me, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They evaluated me, but man, fucking my reviews depress me.
Yeah, no, evaluations are always really sad. I mean, like, from all my peers and superiors, like, they're all like real like, "Oh man, I really love all the stuff you're doing in your classroom. Here's some things you can improve." But for my students, it's either like, "This class was cool," or "totally disorganized." And I'm like, you have no clue the amount of organization I put into the fucking class. Like, students talking about shit they didn't know. One of the worst was, like, I felt like I didn't have to come to class, and I'm like, oh man, well, fuck you. Because I try to create a classroom environment where it's a very much like a peer kind of group, where, like, I sit down, and, like, typically we've, especially with the class I'm teaching next semester, you know, I sit down and we've got, like, this reading that we have to do.
Yeah.
And I just talk to my students as if, like, I'm, like, a dude they know, like one of their friends almost, which is bizarre. That's, like, out of this world. And I just talk about, like I have, like, keynotes that I want to hit on and, like, themes I want to talk about and, like, you know, I want to bring up certain things. But it's essentially, like, I just want to talk about this like I would with my friends, like, nerd out over the story.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you learn shit. Like, fucking, I don't need them like banking what the answer to question 12 is. I want them just to know general shit about Stephen King or the fucking genre work.
Yeah.
So,
and listen, I'm teaching like 70 kids in every class, so I lectured those kids.
Yeah, I mean, I
They were
guess mine...
dumb. Nah.
College students are fucking retarded. Okay, that was a little over the line, maybe. I don't know.
No, yeah.
I'm not gonna watch my language here.
I'm sure I have students, and I'm sure none of them will ever hear this. But a lot of them are pretty dumb.
I don't know, man. One of my
students
had a Kill background, so...
What?
Yeah, I was walking, because, like, you know, like, cause my classes are, like, 20, or, like, they've all been, like, 22 students.
Yeah.
And so, generally, whenever I assign, like, group work or something to do, I'll, like, walk around the class. So, like, it keeps people from, you know, dicking off and stuff. Because, like, you know, there's a dude walking around. And then also people are, like, more confident to ask questions if you're, like, standing right there.
Sure.
And then I can like jump in, so if someone's doing something really interesting, I'd be like, oh, cool, and I can talk to them about it.
Yeah.
And then like I can also like talk to people who seem like they're struggling. So it's whatever. I'm not going to talk about pedagogical practices for this whole podcast.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't. I mean, it's not.
but this kid had a Kill background that was like a huge splash of like a bunch of characters. And I just walked by and I'm like, neat background. And he's like, yeah, and I'm like, that show is a headache. But whatever. I have one of my friends up here really like has written over like 20 pages of like a critical analysis of Kill la Kill.
Yeah. I kind of think that show might be a bizarre like postmodern feminist like masterpiece somehow.
Oh yeah, certainly so.
I don't know if it's actually feminist, but I think it's like
no, dude.
We're just gonna I'm gonna show I think what the writers of that show did is they're like, well, let's make a show where we show titties, but we're gonna fuck with everyone by just like laying all this shit out. Just like, but yeah, it's gonna be about like women being ashamed of their bodies, and like
they start to bleed and they become more powerful.
Yeah. No, but I think I suspect it might be all smoke and mirrors, but I don't give it. It doesn't matter. It's amazing, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. No, his whole deal is we obviously there's like a lot of really cool like feminine body kind of coming into maturity, and we basically decided that the whole thing's about like the entire phase of becoming a woman, like all the way up to menopause at the very end, and like even like childbirth and rebirth.
Yeah. There's an abortion in it.
Yeah. There's a lot to do with also with sexualization and hormones and like so on and so forth. But we'll save that perhaps for another episode of Why Shit's So Kawaii when we talk about Kill la Kill.
Yeah, because we'll eventually have to deconstruct why that shit's so kawaii.
Yeah, which it totally is, because like she's in the outfit and she's all blushing and stuff, and Mako.
It's super kawaii. Anyways, let me tell you a little bit about my week. I ain't did shit. I watched Barton Fink today for the first time. It's I'm trying to complete my collection. I'm trying to have seen every Coen Brothers movie and really taking my goddamn time with it. Apparently.
Oh, me too, actually.
Yeah. Well, Barton Fink. Oh man, it drags. It drags pretty hard, but it's got a payoff. It's all like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure Los Angeles is a metaphor for hell, and John Goodman may or may not be the devil. That's great.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, just watching that.
Oh, and what else? Yeah, go on.
I just finished watching the Fargo miniseries.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that, because you recommended it to me. How is it?
Oh man, it was really good. It was really, really solid.
Does Buscemi show up ever?
No. But I mean, so it's kind of a sequel to the Fargo movie, and it's also sort of like a spiritual retelling of the movie Fargo. Like there's like lots of characters have parallels to characters, but it's not the same story at all, really. It's like a female detective, and again it's like this hapless like Minnesota like guy, and again it's like two like hitmen guys. And
yeah, I could never figure out who was really being made fun of in that film.
I don't think anyone is. I think it's like almost like they're trying to trick you into thinking they're making fun of like Midwesterners, and then like it's all so like that entire movie is to pull the rug out from under you to make you be like, son of a bitch, this detective's really brilliant. But she's just like this goober-ass pregnant woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the whole magic trick of that movie, right? It's supposed to be like, shit, this is like a brilliant person at the end. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of my 3 movies to be... Oh, I forget. I'm sorry. That's bad form.
That's fine.
Yeah. But anyway.
Worry not.
Yeah.
Anytime we can always just fall back on whatever. This is about anime.
It's about the animes.
And I know everything about the anime. So let's unless you have got anything else brilliant that happened.
Man, listen, it's not brilliant. None of it's brilliant. But
oh, okay.
But I did do one anime, vaguely anime related thing or Japanese related thing.
Oh, cool.
I went to see.
I say cool like it's.
It was like thank God for our core demographic.
Yeah, go on.
People who say sugoi in general conversations.
It reminds me of the Womp comic where he's like, "Look at my girlfriend, she's so kawaii," and then he just freezes and he's like, "I just said kawaii, didn't I? I mean cute. I mean cute." And then he's just like, he just sighs and he's like, "I said kawaii." And he like sighs again and just walks out of the room.
I like Womp, man. Anyways,
yeah, enjoyable.
I saw Edge of Tomorrow, which for the uninitiated it's a now still fairly new Tom Cruise movie, but it's based on a light novel. All You Need Is Kill.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that.
Which I read, and I also read the manga of it, which the art is by the guy who did Death Note and Bakuman.
Like Oba or Obata. I always get them mixed up.
Yeah, one of those two Obes.
Cool.
And actually, I like the ending in the movie better. I thought it's a very Hollywood ending, but I liked it.
Yeah, I saw the previews for that. It looked pretty interesting, and people online were talking about like it being fairly successful and thinking maybe more light novels would get adapted in that way.
That'd be interesting. I don't know. That's such a strong concept, I think. Though that's so easy to pitch, I think, to a Hollywood executive. It's like Groundhog's Day, but with fucking space bugs or something.
Space bugs and dying and fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I thought that movie.
Do you think?
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was saying, do you think, also because you have so much source material, it's easier to work with, or?
I think that might be true to a certain extent. I don't know. But
who knows?
What was I going to say about? Oh, I thought Tom Cruise was good in it, and I don't like Tom Cruise. I think he was a perfect casting decision when usually I feel he's fairly superfluous.
Yeah, in that film it looked like he was cruising for a bruiser.
No, but he was good in it. I suggest it to our fans.
Our fans. I mean, I'll inevitably make some fucking scrubs that I know watch this. And I mean, I know Stefan. I'm calling you out, Stefan. Will watch this or listen to it. I think the last thing on or at least the last thing I had to say about weekly stuff is that speaking of podcasts and listening to them, I've been doing it a lot recently as background noise for tedious RPGs.
Yeah.
So I mentioned this before, but not on recording. But I've been playing a lot of Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, which my first playthrough of it, I'm almost back to where I was, about 20 or 30 hours deep.
Sure.
And my first time through, I remember it just being really, really, the atmosphere was really drug you down.
Yeah.
And, you had to, walk about, 5 years until you got you found someone who would tell you, an inch of plot. And then it was just, it was very grindy. You'd run up against a lot of brick walls whenever it came to, bosses because you didn't have the right, demons for your party. So, it really sucks whenever you run into a boss that uses a bunch of wind attacks and all your party is weak to it. And you're like, well, I guess I'm going to go and fuse up some demons that don't get wrecked by this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's enough safe falls that you can, like, switch stuff around and, like, it's not that big of a deal. But
sure.
But then this time playing through it, I've been listening to podcasts in the background, which,
podcasts are magical.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Retsu Praise podcasts because I hadn't before, and I like the stuff they do with Let's Plays. I think they're pretty funny. But
if they'd only do ours.
Yeah, if only. Brief background, we did a very short Let's Play series, which I still haven't even uploaded all of the stuff for, just because it's a big mess of files on my computer.
Yeah, you should do that. You should do,
I really
that,
should.
And our fans should shame you.
Yep.
Like all the fans, real talk, I hope we get some fans, but all the fans who are going to listen to this episode day drops, they're the 8 guys we know.
Yeah, pretty much. But, I don't know, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really been passing the time, and I thought, like, man, maybe I should start, like, exercising and, like, listening, like, to, like, podcaster music, because, you know, like, I had, like, that realization of, like, you know, shit that's usually tedious and annoying.
Yeah.
If you can distance yourself by having something else to listen to. And, I don't know, the Retsu Prey podcast is, they've got, like, a good rapport.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, that's what's important.
Yeah, no.
And hopefully what we can deliver.
Oh, I hope.
But, but anyway, we should talk about ping pong, since this episode's about ping pong.
I wonder how far we got into this before we started talking about ping pong the anime.
We mentioned it pretty early.
We did, which I did purposefully.
Purposely. So for those of you who remember whenever we, like, did the Indiana Jones drop of I Hate Snakes of ping pong existing, here are the snakes, aka ping pong.
Yeah.
So, ping pong actually, it just aired, it actually was simulcast with Funimation's website, which is really cool. I like it whenever that happens, because then, whenever I recommend it to people who aren't filthy pirates, I can be like, well, you can stream it.
Yeah.
Here you go. I don't know, I like downloading stuff in, like, super huge file types so I can blow it up at, like, 5,000 resolution and it looks great.
But I also, of course, you go on their website afterwards and watch a bunch of ads just to offset that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I also hate, you know, dealing with buffering and ads. But Ping Pong the Animation, like I said, it just aired. It just finished its 11 episodes. It's done by I think Masaaki Yuasa or Yuasa Masa, whatever.
Yeah.
That guy. He did. He directed. I say he's done by that. He just directed it, but like it definitely reeks of his style.
It certainly.
Which, for some people, the other night I had 8 people come into my room and sit on my bed, which I have a very, very small apartment. And they all sat on my bed, 8 people, and I've got like a I don't know, like maybe whatever's bigger than a twin. I don't know. Maybe it's about a twin. I don't know.
You had too many people on your bed. And
I flipped my TV to the side, and we just watched the first episode of Ping Pong. And everybody left except for one dude who just went like, I'm going to watch the rest of this with you tonight. And then we just marathoned it all in one sitting. So I've seen it twice now.
Yeah, well, that reminds me of the other thing I did this week is I watched it all, because I had never seen it before. And I watched it all this week. Starting from Friday until today, I watched all 11 episodes.
Oh, man. Yeah. So for those who don't know, it's about guys who play ping pong. The notable thing
about that or a panda.
Yeah, of course. God damn it. Like stupid, misleading titles. But no, the title was actually chosen because, like, you know, it was actually meant something. Surprise! I know that doesn't get done very often. But essentially, before talking about the plot, I think the major thing that sticks out is the animation style and, like, the direction, which Masaaki Yuasa is really... He just did an Adventure Time episode, actually.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was bizarre. He's known for doing, like, really, really surreal kind of stuff. He directed Tatami Galaxy.
Which I love, actually.
Yeah, Tatami Galaxy is in my top 10.
Which sold me on doing this as a first episode.
Yeah, see, that's on.
Yeah.
And then he also did Kaiba and let's see, Kimonozume, the movie Mind Game you might have seen.
Yeah.
Cat Soup's probably the weirdest thing he's done.
Oh, I've seen Cat Soup. I didn't know he did Cat Soup.
Yeah, he directed Cat Soup.
Jeez. That makes sense.
And then there's a lot of stuff that, like, for instance, there was that one Space Dandy episode that was really bizarre that was done by, not him, but, like, his pupil, essentially.
Yeah.
There's a woman, which I can't remember the name of her, but, I mean, if you look it up, you can find it, which she takes a lot of notes from him, so. Yeah. But yeah, his styles, he's known for doing, like, really, really minimalistic, surreal, and, like, expressive kind of stuff that, like, can switch gears in the animation really well. Yeah. I think that really was showcased amazingly well in Ping Pong.
Yeah, Ping Pong, it looked almost like rotoscoped. But was it partially rotoscoped?
I think there might have been moments that were, but by and large it isn't.
Yeah, it looked interesting.
It's really interesting. Yeah. It'll turn a lot of people off who will just be like, oh, this looks like crap.
Yeah.
But if you like, the point of it isn't like for like still shots, which, you know, some animated stuff, like you can like Redline, you can freeze any frame of it, and cool. Like, you know, it's a goddamn movie. Like every single frame of Redline is like a computer background, like, you know,
like a good one.
Yeah. But
like it's just like
but like
background of a guy in a hospital bed.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I'm sorry.
But yeah. And like in motion, it looks really, really spectacular, and there's a lot of energy that can be pulled out of it. And then also, like, whenever the animation gets ridiculous or like switches gears real hard, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like as frenetic as it really is.
Yeah.
So like, there's like a part where like the main character, for instance, like starts his smile. Yeah. I know essentially almost every character had a nickname, right? Yeah. No, that was the other thing I liked, is every character had a nickname and every character had an icon or some kind of symbol that represented them. So it was surprisingly for anime.
Yeah.
It was really easy to like instantly go, oh, that's that character, even in flashback or flash forward.
It's true. I feel like it's a one thing I think is a weakness. One thing I think is a weakness of anime is that there's lots of samey character designs. Mm-hmm. That is not true of this show. Yeah, and like even like their character designs were like very like normal and like they just look like normal kids, but like, you know, Smile's got the glasses and always has like a moon on his outfit. Yeah. And then like Peiko's got like the haircut in the face. It's like, but when he grows the hair out partway through, I didn't recognize him at the beach.
Yeah. There's like that weird moment where you're like, he's totally different because he's a little chubbier and he's got the hair grown out and he's tan.
Yeah.
But the second you see like the little star, you're like, that's Peiko.
That's Peiko.
Which apparently, actually, I didn't know this until I had the 8 people sit down. But one of them who's like kind of weeb was like, Peiko is like the Japanese onomatopoeia for like being hungry, for like your stomach gurgling.
Oh man.
And like Peiko's always eating sweets.
Always eating stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Aw.
Aw.
But it is kawaii. That's why shit's so kawaii.
Shit is so kawaii. It's Peiko.
I both do and do not want to do a gimmick in which we answer in every episode why shit is kawaii.
Why shit is so kawaii. But no, like I think you know, speaking about the animation again, so there's a moment where Smile, who like, he's likened to a robot throughout the whole series, because like he's got like this mechanical precision to him, and like he's not very emotional.
He doesn't smile. He doesn't yell.
He's always playing video games
due to his parents' divorce, apparently.
Yeah. They do a really great job with those characters, but like there's a moment where he's playing and like he taps into that robot part of himself or whatever, and like it's like really fearsome, and so like the sound effects are even like him like and like every time,
the very first time he turns into a robot on screen.
Yeah, he goes to hit it with the paddle, and his entire arm explodes into a robotic arm.
Yeah,
and like. Any other anime, I would have been like, whoa, what the fuck? And I'd have to like pause and freak out. And like it would just be so out of character, you know? But like that happens in, you know, Ping Pong, you're like wowed by it, but like it's just completely natural for the animation style.
Yeah, it seems correct.
Yeah, and there's like some really good like there's like a part where like Kong, whenever they first play Kong Wingay, the China guy, China,
because they call him China.
Yeah, because he's from China.
And
where like he hits it so hard that like there's like this like watercolor vortex going to the ball.
Yeah.
And like it's using like the show's using watercolor and using like all these like really crazy animation techniques, and like I said, like it's just you watch it and it feels perfectly natural and part of the show.
It's true. I think it's partially because just the standard animation, there's something weird about it. I found it almost uncomfortable to look at a little bit.
It doesn't. I like to say it's not. It's like off model, but like
it's like jittery. It reminds me like of just a little bit of like home movies. Or Dr. Katz, like that squiggly line kind of thing. But
oh man,
it's way better. It's way better animated.
Way better.
But
I know what you mean. But there were some like frames in the animation that like fucking destroyed me. There's like I really love like anytime they're trying to show a character is imposing, they do a really good job of that.
Oh, but they like distort them and they get all giant.
Yeah, cool. That's always really cool. But then they characterize the characters really great by the way that they were animated.
Yeah.
But then like they could go into extreme detail and then pull back from that really well, and like that would the way that they would move your eye with that was always really neat.
It's true.
And they did a lot of really cool like just paneling where like something would happen and it would panel off and it would be there still on the screen, but it would be freeze frame. And then something would happen somewhere else and that would panel off.
That seemed really dynamic, and it also seemed really cost effective.
No, it was really great. So there's a lot of scenes like there's one scene where Smile's playing China and he goes to serve, and so like the first panel of it is like it's full screen at the time.
Yeah.
But like he like knocks the ball into the he throws the ball into the air, and then it does like a double panel of both Kong and Smile's eyes, like super detailed, like watching the ball fly up. Yeah. And then like the last panel is like Kong about like to go back to like return the serve.
Yeah.
And just like stuff like that.
I wonder how much of that is taken directly from the original manga. So let me say.
I gotta imagine it is.
I gotta imagine it's Masaaki? Anyway.
Masaaki, I think it's Masaaki Yuasa.
Yuasa, yeah. Him just reading the manga and be like, this shit's rad. I'm just gonna put that just directly onto the screen, more or less.
Yeah. I mean, like, certainly so. Because like a lot of it's really good, and then also it really moves your eye through the screen.
Yeah, because they bring in the panels one at a time until it fills the screen up. That's a trick I see online. Like, there's a lot of web like comics that kind of do that. I don't know. It's just
and so it's cool because like sometimes like one panel will freeze. Like they'll do like half the screen will be like one panel on one half, and one panel on the other half. Yeah. And so whatever's happening on one half will freeze, and then something will happen on the other half in reply, and like response, and then the frozen panel will come back and like respond to that. And like that was
those real dynamic. You're so surprising how well that works, right?
It was really awesome.
Describing it sounds goofy, right?
That
one guy's completely still. An action happens, and then the guy that made the action's completely still, and the reaction happens. It's goofy as hell, but it's like using that the way that comic books work actually, just adding motion to it, and I wouldn't think it would work so well, but it does. It's really great.
Yeah. So fucking the animation's great.
Yeah. It's very unconventional, but it's amazing.
Certainly. Moving on to like the actual plot, I think.
This show kind of like destroyed me. Like it made me. I was like feeling real depressed.
Oh man.
This show actually.
One of the things that it did that I'm inevitably going to steal for a story of my own.
Okay. Good.
Is that there's this entire arc, and this is pretty much every character's arc.
Yeah.
Is that they've gotten into ping pong whenever they were young because it was fun.
Yeah.
And then as they grew up, because of like the dynamics of the game, they had to like get serious about it, and they stopped playing it because it was fun, but started playing it either because it was their lifestyle or because because one of their friends played or something. Like their reasons for playing ping pong evolved into like winning or doing whatever.
But I mean, first of all, I'm going to say that there is an exception to this almost. Yeah. I don't think that's Smile's plot arc exactly. I don't think that exactly makes sense.
Yeah. No, Smile's is a little bit different, but pretty much everyone else, like, the reasons for playing shift before the series starts.
I want to take a step back and say that ping pong is a metaphor for life.
I would say so, because the really great thing is that all the characters, like, there's that elation they have whenever they go back to realizing that, like, shit, I'm having fun because ping pong's a fun sport. I just want to enjoy it.
I think so. I think this show, if I was going to talk about the themes of the show and why it hit me the way it did, was it was about like kind of ambition, and it's about success and failure, and like what it takes to be successful.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, which has depressed me because these motherfuckers work harder at ping pong than I could ever imagine myself working at. And they care more about ping pong more than I can imagine myself caring about anything besides perhaps a person.
It's really intense. And like, the thing about it that was really interesting is that like they don't pull that anime bullshit where like, it's like, oh, I believe in my prowess and my friends and I'm going to win. Yeah. Instead, it's just like characters get thrashed, and it's like because you don't have any talent at ping pong.
Yeah. There's no
and so like they set up like this really interesting hierarchy that like usually doesn't get set up in like typically shonen stuff. It's just an anime in general.
Yeah. I mean, because it's not uplifting. It's not an uplifting message in this show. I mean, there is sort of. There's this thing like it's almost like being in awe of people who do have both talent and drive. Yeah, and then like the really cool thing was like for like at the end of like really with Peiko's arc is like I've got all this talent but it's going to waste because I'm not training, and then he starts training, and then like he still runs up against a brick wall, and then he's like, wait, I'm playing ping pong because I really enjoy it, and then like he just enjoys like the thrill of having to be pushed to his limits. Yeah. And like that becomes like the final kind of like penultimate state. Let's talk about ultimate individual characters for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think of different characters as different archetypes of the sorts of people who are like super successful in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Smile, I think, is sort of the weirdest one. Because I don't know if I've ever really met a person like that, which is just like he's excellent, just like as a matter of course. He's like of course I'm excellent. I know how to do the things, and then I do them.
Yeah. That's no, I love some of his lines at the beginning where he's just like, ping pong just fills up time before I die, just like math questions or English.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, damn, that's cold fun.
That's cold blood.
And then like later on, he's like, but I do it because I like ping pong.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's that one part where he's like gets all angry at spiky hair guy. The team's like head or whatever. The captain. He gets at the captain for not getting the ping pong balls. And and then the coach is like jogging with him, and he's like, not everyone finds it easy just to do everything that they're supposed to do. You can't.
Yeah. Like motherfuckers have different priorities, and like this just come naturally. I don't know, man. Like I think he stands like in place of like the kind of like the genius kind of character who's just like like that guy's like real great, but like he doesn't because he's real great and everything comes naturally to him.
Yeah.
Unlike Peiko, who like is just like throbbing in everyone's face and having fun with it, he's more just like chill about it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but I want to talk about Ryu or Dragon.
Yeah, Kazuma. That guy. Yeah, the Dragon. Ryuichi.
Yeah, that dude's probably my favorite character. Actually, yeah. Like I really like Dragon, and he's the guy who's successful by just like. Through self-flagellation, more or less.
Yeah, right? I like he doesn't even go on the date with like the hot rich chick because he's just doing like fucking pull-ups.
Yeah. No, but that's just like this is what I have to do to be the best, and he just hates it. He fucking hates it.
Suffering.
He's just, his success is suffering for him. He's just like beating himself up over it.
Mm-hmm. But that's like his lot in life is that he has to win.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he'll let everyone down, and like his family business, like everything's gonna be shit.
Yeah. So like that's what drives him. That's what makes him the best. Is essentially pain. Is what drives him. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, so we have one model with Smile, which is just like the fucking whatever, and then there's he's like, I'm the best because listen, I'm paying attention. I don't know, and then I do things.
Like. The shit comes naturally to me, and then like I started working at it.
Yeah, exactly. I figured it out. I figured out how to play.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Dragon is his life sign. He beats himself into being the best. And then Peko is just a fucking genius.
Yeah.
Peko is just a wizard.
Well, I think Peko's the Lance Armstrong of ping pong. He's just the dude who's just unnaturally gifted with that shit. And, like, everyone else can train to be as good as him, but they just don't have, like, the baseline.
Yeah. What drives him is just the joy of playing the game, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the third model, is just, like, he's great at the thing he does because he loves it so much he just consumes it. You know?
Yeah. It's strangely enough, actually, right now, off topic, your audio just got really weird and changed. I don't know if that'll turn out weird in the thing, but we'll see.
We'll see. I hope everyone understands it.
Yeah, I can still hear you fine.
Sure. My internet connection's been great, as I have told you in the past. I don't know why. It makes me very sad.
You make it work. Oh, well.
Yeah. But so anyway, that's my breakdown.
But man, you're overlooking my favorite character.
What?
Well, I love all the characters, but I love Kong the most.
You like Kong, yeah?
Because I like Kong's arcs, which is essentially like, at first he's like, I'm going to beat all these Japanese scrubs and return to China where we really play ping pong.
Yeah.
And then he gets fucking destroyed.
But I almost want to say Kong is like this mirror image of Dragon in a way. I think he's a very interesting character. Because he has almost the same arc in which victory is suffering for him. Like he has to be the best.
Right.
He has to like beat himself into being the best.
But like with Kong, he's got this whole thing going on with like him like not accepting other people, or like looking down on pretty much everyone else.
That's true.
And like, it's really cool to see the transition from like him being this unlovable bastard that you're going to ruthlessly call China.
Yeah.
to like being this guy who like really misses his mother and like ends up becoming friends with all the people on his team and goes like, hey, maybe I actually will train this team to not be so shit.
It's that he allows himself to become human.
And I think that's my favorite thing about his arc is that like he is such an inhuman adversary and force, and then like he becomes human through the series, and then like essentially with his the final match, like he realizes like, nah man, it is fun playing ping pong and like doing all this stuff. Like
that's what
you can try to be the best, but you know
that's the thing in the end. So I feel like but that's like most of the characters are like this. Most of these characters are like so driven to become great that they like lose all joy in life somehow.
Yeah.
Or it's like, or they lose their humanity somewhere along the way in the pursuit of this task that they're trying to master.
Right. I that's a really good metaphor for pretty much life.
Yeah. And the redemption at the end is Peko. Spoilers throughout. Jesus.
Yeah, well, whenever I had a moment where I said, hey, we're going to talk about the story now. And so anybody who didn't bell out right there.
Yeah.
But the hero arrives.
Yeah. So Wang is that he's just through the struggle. He had to struggle all his life to be the best. He lost a match. He had to come to Japan, but he just has to like fucking fight through it. And that's the same thing kind of for Ryu. That's the same thing that's really the thing for their childhood friend. What was that guy? Like
Sakuma or Akuma.
Yeah. It's just that so Sakuma and China, they both have this arc where they have to learn to deal with defeat. Right?
Yeah. I really love the part where his coach is coming from being your friend and not just your coach. He's like, you got your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I don't mean your ping pong life. I mean your life.
You're talking about China's coach, by the way. It's just about
China's coach. Yeah. And China's just like, yeah, I should just live a satisfying life.
Yeah. And Sakuma learns the exact same lesson, but no one has to tell him apparently. He just like, man, you know what? I'm just gonna live life and grow a pompadour.
Yeah. And have a billion children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Become a construction worker.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I mean, and that's their plot arc. That's really Ryu's plot arc too, but that's not until after the end, where he gets that really, and that's kind of the plot arc of Smile.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I really like is that they not only just do a generational story, which is kind of neat, where you have all the old people and then it's passing on all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then they have all these arcs that are very tied together, but distinct and different, and with characters that are really noticeable and likable and interesting. And they manage to not only bring up all of this and build all these characters, but then it has a real sense of finality to it.
Yeah.
And
the way
of being all done.
Yeah.
And so within 11 episodes, it really does a shit ton of work in the department of telling a really interesting story of all these characters going through all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really liked about it the most, is that you get really pulled into seeing all these different characters develop, and not just seeing who's going to win the match, which is interesting in its own, but
You know what I think might be a point? I don't know if knowing about ping pong makes the show better or worse.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't know anything about ping pong getting into it, and then I did a lot of research, actually.
What the fuck?
I remember the moment. That was Chopper. Chopper wasn't the moment where I paused the video, but whenever whenever Peiko shows up and he's got the swapper thing where you can switch between backhand and forehand, and I just paused the video. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, it's like someone just brought a fucking gun to this match.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck is that? No, that toy. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like a ping pong battle, right?
Yeah. Well, the idea is that you can flip it around so that you can make forehand attacks with the back of the paddle. So you can end up having a bunch of different strokes. So normally you have a paddle that you don't flip around, and so your backhand's always going to be whatever the rubber is on the back, and your forehand's always going to be the rubber on the front.
Yeah.
And the idea is that with that you can flip it around real easily, and so it's easy to swap what your strokes are. Which apparently, professional ping pong, you put all the spin on the ball, and all kinds of crazy stuff's going on that normal people, I guess, aren't aware of.
Yeah. That ball went a weird direction. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
way more interesting than actually watching regular ping pong or table tennis.
I agree. There's far less chiaroscuro lighting in real table tennis.
Yeah. But no, it's fantastic. I think it was really satisfying. And actually, apparently, and I don't know if this is true or not, but someone told me that that's the entire arc of the manga as well, that, the anime is a faithful adaptation all the way to the end.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So, they're like, yeah, it's actually pretty short, just in general.
Yeah,
but I'm like, that's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat. I'm also told by the internet that there's a live-action movie of
Spectacular.
Ping Pong made at some point in time.
I don't know, man. I like live-action stuff only because it's campy, which is why I like a lot of delinquent kind of live-action animation.
Yeah, you sure do. You sure do watch that. I do not understand it.
I'm a real fan of the delinquent kind of genre, the Yankee genre of Japanese media. It's something that doesn't really exist elsewhere, like not in the same capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we're running up on like an hour here, so I guess we should close out.
Yeah, let me think. Last thing. I feel like there was some other things I wanted to talk about.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I just want to talk about a few more things I liked about it.
Definitely.
I like to read the best. I think he had the best plot arc. Life is Suffering. His dad killed himself in front of him.
Yeah,
Which was this is clearly this thing where like his father was in a way living the same life his son was, and then he just ended up killing himself. Like he was just living his whole life to be other people. He's living his whole life for other people, working his soul to the bone, and then has to kill himself. Which is kind of, I don't know, depressing.
Yeah, now there's the Christmas episode of Ping Pong.
Yeah.
Was certainly one of the most emotional episodes.
Oh yeah, yeah, it sure was.
Like, fucking Smile goes home and he's just got the cake and he's alone.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, shit.
Man, yeah. But so that dovetails well. So
yeah, I
like how so Smile and Ryu had the exact same moment of redemption. They're both playing Pekko, and he essentially so when they play Pekko, the moment of redemption for pretty much everyone, including Wang, sorta. So in the final tournament, Wang plays Pekko, Ryu plays Pekko, and then Smile plays Pekko.
Yeah.
He beats Wang, which I was kind of surprised even happened at that point in time. I wasn't aware that they were going to try to build up to this final, like just right now.
Well, like, I don't know, man. Whenever Pekko started training again, he's like training with adults and shit.
Whenever Pekko's what? I'm sorry, you cut up.
Oh, whenever Pekko like started his training again with the old lady, and he's like training at the dojo with all the adults, I was like, Pekko's gonna kick some ass.
I knew he was. I just didn't know how immediately he would kick ass.
Yeah.
So he plays Wang, and then he was like, he beats him, and Wang was like, well, shit, I guess that's it. But at the same time, he doesn't seem that broken up about it. And that's
it's one of the things that I noticed on the second watch was that like in the finals, Wayne cares way less about himself winning than he does like about his team doing well.
Yeah.
And like he's just like, yeah, how's my team doing in their events? And his team's like, should we get these shoes? And he's like, well, it won't really matter, but having nice shoes is important to winning. and he's way more concerned about like how everyone else is doing and like them doing well, which I think is like the end of his arc is that like he's becoming human and he cares about these other people more than himself.
Yeah, I think that's true. Or he cares about these other people more than his own success.
Yeah,
at the very least. But what was I going to say? So Pekko. So he plays Pekko. And then Ryu plays Pekko, and so the point I want to make was when Wang is watching the match with Ryu and Pekko, he's like his coach is like, man, like he's talking about he's like underestimating him or something, and like this coach says something about how much it must have sucked to like lose to like some right.
Yeah.
And like Wayne's like, fucking I don't know. It's like hard to be real bummed playing a match with a guy who enjoys the game so much.
Yeah.
And then that's what is the redemption for Ryu too, is that he plays Pekko and he sees Pekko enjoying the game so much, and then he like learns to love the game again. Yeah. Just seeing someone else enjoying so much and it not being about the pain for him. As it is at the beginning of the match because of his injured knee.
That's speaking of that. That's like my favorite moment in the end.
Yeah.
Whenever the whole time you're wondering if the injury is going to come up, and they have this entire entire backstory of people with injuries, and like it's huge.
It ruined the woman's career, the Oba-san, the grandpa, and it ruined
Butterfly Joe's career.
No, it could have ruined. Butterfly Joe's Ryu's grandfather's career.
Yeah. But Joe because Joe went soft on him, and he stopped he like was out of ping pong, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and it could have ruined the other guy's career.
Yeah.
And so it's so great whenever the coach, I think Koizumi or Butterfly Joe, whenever he's talking to Smile, and he's like, "Are you sure that you can like drive a stake into his weakness?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, and Smile's like, you know, I know exactly what I need to do to make him like rely on that leg. Of course, I could do it. And then he's like, but are you really going to exploit that? And he's like, heroes don't have weaknesses.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, fucking hype. But then I thought about it. I was like, what do you mean heroes? And it's like, because if he was really a hero, it wouldn't fucking stop him, like in the grander scheme of things. Because if he wasn't a hero, then of course, like, his leg would break out and whatever. Yeah. That's a different story.
That is a different story. But I mean, what I think Smile actually meant when he said that was just like, I trust my friend to just be good enough to deal with it.
Yeah, like he'll just play through that shit.
Exactly. Like fucking no, we're gonna play the hardest game of ping pong we fucking can. That's what that's what like makes us both happy.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. But there was one very specific thing I wanted to get into. So Ryu had the thing where he realized that he just has to enjoy ping pong, and that's what makes him human. And then during the match with Peiko and Smile also has that realization.
Yeah.
And like starts to become human. Like he starts enjoying the game again. He stops just performing it and starts like living, you know, like enjoying it and like getting into it. It's not just about calculation and execution. It's about enjoying the game and like being there in the moment.
Yeah, and I think that actually this came at a really good point in my life.
Let me just say one thing.
One thing, okay.
The way that they have that realization, they show it on screen the exact same way. They dive through like the barricade and then just get up immediately and like get the ball back.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. And I loved it when Ryu did it, because it was just like so fucking like matter of course. It just like fucking goes through the wall and just pops up immediately, sprints like all the way across the table. It just hits it again. And I was like, what? Whoa. Yeah. And he's smiling the whole time. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love whenever it's like teammates are like saying shit and like he's just like, shut up. He's just having fun.
Yeah.
No, but what I was saying, it gave it a good point for me, because, like, I'm bogged down with all this, like, I had to do all this graduate work, and, you know, I have a lot of shit on my plate for next semester, as far as, like, you know, responsibilities and things that I have to do, and I'm like, oh, man, I have so much crap to do, and then I realized, like, I'm doing it because I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'll have fun with this.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess my problem is that I don't enjoy writing papers that much, and that's my life right now.
No, I have super fun, like, writing stories and teaching kids and learning stuff, so...
Yeah. I mean, I like my job, but I don't like writing papers. That's my life, and it's
fair enough.
Rough. So that's why it depressed me, because I still feel like Ryu, just where my life is pain, and I just have to beat myself into, like, getting through life to have the life I want to have. I just have to feel pain the whole time.
Maybe you should play ping pong.
Maybe I should play ping pong instead of getting my doctorate in economics.
There was a moment where I was talking to one of my roommates, and I was asking about hobbies. This is when we were moving in, and he said, "Oh, I really enjoy table tennis," and that's how I knew that he was really good at it.
You know what? I think that should be the end.
Yeah,
because I think it's beautiful. I really enjoyed table tennis, so I knew he was really good at it.
It's like, that's the moment I was like, I'm never playing that motherfucker in ping pong. He will not goad me into that shit.
Yeah. A trap. That's the best way to be good at something. Alright. Good night, our loving audience.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap. That's why shit's so kawaii.
That's why.
Yeah.
Alright.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.